Maaaring hindi ka makapaniwala. Maaaring isang umaga, babangon ka ng may paliwanag na pagkuyom sa iyong dibdib at susubukin mo itong lunurin sa isang basong tubig. Maaaring hawiin mo ang kurtina at mabigla ka. Madilim pa pala. Maaaring pulutin mo ito at itanong, sino ito? Sino ito? Ito ang lungsod. Kanina ka pa niyang pinipilit abutin. Maniwala ka.
Poets, fictionists, and all kinds of storytellers have a fixation for the city, or at least the idea of the city as a place. They pour a lot of thought into fleshing out this concept to shape this imaginary community for their characters and purposes. Perhaps they find it wonderful how chaotic crowds of people find a measure of order when they walk down the same streets. Just as seemingly disparate elements of stories seek structure to form a narrative. Perhaps they appreciate the density of districts, which radiate the sense that there is always a story to be found just around the corner, down the alleys, inside the buildings. There is always a lingering desire to find exciting things buried behind the dull details of life. Gusto Kita with All My Hypothalamus is a captivating expression of this urge. The film, A Love Letter to Manila's Avenida, tells the stories of four men linked together only by their common admiration for a woman named Eileen. She is introduced to the music of Ted Ito's Ikaw Pa Rin, a song one could easily imagine blaring from those karaoke units peddled at Raon. The men carry weary outlooks and aggressive temperaments, the products of their harsh surroundings. Together, they portray various manners of acting on desire, disordered in different ways. There is Nico Manalos Caloy, the ukay-ukay assistant, whose daily joy it is to attend to Eileen's frequent shopping. In her presence, he can barely find the words to speak, content to indulge her every request to have her pictures taken while wearing dresses she has not even paid for yet. To him, Eileen has become an addictive habit for which he has no practical endgame planned. There's Dylan Ray Talon's Alex, the irresponsible and hedonistic college student who finds in Eileen an escape from the tedium and responsibilities of young life. In pursuing her, he loses interest in and respect for his actual girlfriend, Pam. There is Obeng, the lonely thief, whose obsession with Eileen takes a fittingly materialist form. He stalks her and he snatches her necklace and earrings, valuable physical pieces of her that he takes home for adoration. And there is Soliman Cruz's Lando, both sympathetic and intriguingly aloof, a proprietor of a gloomy second-hand appliance shop. He is perhaps still loyal to his wife who has been dead for 12 years. Towards the end of the story, Eileen submits to the fantasies of the four men. She does so in ways suiting their individual styles, needs, and wants. She becomes seductive to Lando, youthful to Alex, and coy to Kaloy. With Obeng, who does not speak in the film, she shares a wordless moment. In doing so, Eileen perfects her character as an icon of desire and an object of devotion. Yet this risks the accusation of judging with a male perspective. On the other hand, the film reveals itself to be a portrayal of just how damaging such a gaze can be, for the subject as much as it is for the object. It is true that Eileen is objectified. Throughout the film, she wears a uniform from an unknown job, constraining her individuality and idealizing her as a woman. In all the stories of the four men, she is the outsider, and indeed, her agency is limited. But crucially, whatever action she takes of her own accord affords her a powerful hold over the men, which comes precisely from her being their much coveted object of desire. The film heavily points to, but never explicitly tells, the ultimate futility of the men's delirious quest to satiate their desires, and the costs of this pursuit. The film hides this just behind the alluring spectacle of Eileen. The attentive viewer will look further to the smaller roles of Pam and Lando's store assistant Marites, the story's two neglected but more fully realized woman characters. The question remains, who or even what is Eileen indeed? It is a question impossible to resolve in literal and logical terms. Her story is left unexplained, so that her mystery and desirability might be kept intact. Nevertheless, the lines of Mikhail Ko's Panawagan, the poem that Pam reads over the film's most sublime sequence, offers an interpretation. Eileen, perhaps, is the personification of the city, and this film fulfills a cinematic daydreaming about Manila. Like the historic and storied city, Eileen is an ever-mysterious muse, perfectly malleable, always satisfying her dreamers' imaginations. Hypothalamus is then, above all else, an ode to desire and its role in the life of the city. Just as it is said that the hypothalamus and not the heart is the organ that truly animates a man, it is our fundamental need to dream and desire, and not necessarily any higher purpose or principle that carries people through life, that keeps the city bustling, thriving, and throbbing.
Nais ko'y